Welcome to the audiobook summary of Baby Steps Millionaires, How Ordinary People Build Extraordinary Wealth, and How You Can Too by Dave Ramsey. I'm your narrator. We're diving deep into a book that's all about hope, hard work, and a proven plan to turn ordinary folks, like you and me, into millionaires. Dave Ramsey, the #1 New York Times best-selling author and America's trusted voice on money, is here to show us that wealth isn't reserved for the elite. It's not about luck, inheritance, or a six-figure salary. It's about choices, discipline, and a set of 7 simple steps that millions have followed to financial freedom. So, grab a coffee, settle in, and let's baby step our way through this journey together. Chapter 1. Can anyone become a millionaire? Spoiler alert. Dave's answer is a big, bold yes, and he's got the stories and stats to prove it. This chapter sets the stage for everything that follows, tearing down the myths that wealth is only for the lucky or the privileged. Instead, Dave introduces us to ordinary people who built extraordinary wealth and shows us how we can too. So, let's jump in and meet some heroes who prove it's not where you start, but what you do that counts. Dave kicks off with a question that's probably crossed your mind. Can anyone, you, me, the guy next door, really become a millionaire? He doesn't just say yes, he shows us, with real-life stories that hit you right in the gut. First up is Tiffany. Picture this. A 27-year-old single mom, recently divorced, standing at her stove boiling water for ramen noodles, her twice-a-day meal because it's all she can afford. She's working over 60 hours a week, pulling in just $30,000 a year, with 2 little kids depending on her. Oh, and she's got $60,000 of debt hanging over her head like a dark cloud. Overwhelmed? Check. Afraid? You bet. But Tiffany's a fighter. She decides enough is enough and starts researching ways to get out of debt and build a future. That's when she stumbles across Dave Ramsey's Baby Steps. At first, she's half-hearted, doing it baby steps-ish, tweaking the plan to fit her comfort zone. But she quickly realizes that won't cut it. She needs to go all in. No child support to lean on, nothing valuable to sell, just her grit and determination. She picks up extra hours, slashes every expense she can, and saves up that first $1,000 emergency fund. Then she attacks that $60,000 debt like a woman possessed. It's slow, it's painful, but she does it, pays it all off. Suddenly, her income's hers to keep, not the bank's. She starts investing, and over the next 20 years, life throws curveballs, her dad's tragic death in an accident, a battle with breast cancer. But Tiffany keeps going. Promotions pile up at work, and by the time Dave meets her, she's got a net worth of $1.85 million, $1.3 million in investments and cash, $450,000 in real estate, and $100,000 in other assets. Today, she's remarried, a Ramsey financial coach, and a Financial Peace University coordinator, spreading the hope she's found. Tiffany's not just a millionaire, she's a hero. Then there's John and Maddie, a couple whose story starts with chaos but ends in triumph. When they married, they blended 5 kids from previous marriages and soon added a 6th. Sounds sweet, right? Not so fast. Their finances were a mess, and John didn't even know it. Maddie had a past with an abusive ex, and when stress hit, like arguments with John, she'd cope by shopping. Big time. On credit cards. Secret credit cards she opened in John's name. One day, John pulls his credit report and bam, $20,000 of debt he didn't sign up for. He's heartbroken, betrayed, and after years of tears and tension, he files for divorce. But here's where it gets good. At their first mandatory attorney meeting, they leave through opposite doors, only to bump into each other on the stairs outside. That moment, it's like a movie scene, stops them cold. They realize they still love each other and don't want to quit. Around then, a friend drags Maddie to a total money makeover live event. She's skeptical, doesn't know Dave from Adam, but she goes. Sitting there, hearing about the baby steps, something clicks. It's not about money, it's about her. She's the problem, and she can be the solution. Hope sparks. She grabs John. They read the book, join Financial Peace University at their church, and discover they're drowning in $300,000 of debt. Overwhelming? Sure. But now they've got a plan. They go hardcore, selling everything that isn't nailed down, slashing their lifestyle to the bone. In just over 5 years, they pay off every penny, including their house. And here's the kicker. They were so focused on debt that they didn't notice their investments growing. When they finally look up, they're not just debt-free. They're millionaires with a $2 million net worth, $1.5 million in investments, a $475,000 paid for home, and $50,000 in liquid assets. Their marriage? Rock solid. They even visit Ramsey Solutions for a debt-free scream, and Dave's grinning ear-to-ear meeting them. John and Maddie didn't inherit this. They earned it, together with the baby steps. Let's add one more story to the mix. Meet Sarah, a teacher Dave mentions later but fits right here. Sarah's a single woman in her 30s, no kids, making $45,000 a year in a small Midwest town. She's got $35,000 in student loans from her teaching degree and a beat-up car that's seen better days. She's not glamorous, no trust fund, no fancy job. But she hears Dave on the radio one day, talking about millionaires who started with nothing. She's intrigued. She picks up the Total Money Makeover, starts the baby steps, and gets serious. That $1,000 emergency fund comes first, saved in 3 months by tutoring after school. Then she tackles those loans, living on a tight budget. No Starbucks, no new clothes. In 4 years, she's debt-free. With no payments, she pours money into retirement. 15% of her income, about $6,750 a year. She keeps teaching, gets a few raises, and by her 50s, her investments hit $1.2 million. She's still in that small town, driving a used Honda, but she's a millionaire. Sarah's story isn't flashy, it's steady. And that's Dave's point. You don't need drama to win, you need discipline. So, what ties Tiffany, John and Maddie, and Sarah together? They're ordinary. No silver spoons, no Wall Street wizardry. Just people who started from nothing, faced real struggles, and followed a plan. Dave calls them Baby Steps Millionaires, a special group within what he labels everyday millionaires, folks who build wealth without inheritance or privilege. He's been guiding people like this for 30 years, ever since he made his first million in his 20s the wrong way, lost it all in bankruptcy, and rebuilt it the right way. This chapter's his opening salvo. You can do this too. He hears the doubts in your head. Sure, it worked for them, but my situation's different. I don't have the right job, the right education, the right anything. Dave's ready for that. He says those aren't doubts. They're lies from a toxic money culture. Credit card companies, banks, even friends and family. They've convinced us we're stuck, that wealth is for someone else. But millions have proved them wrong with the baby steps. Dave teases the national study of millionaires here. Over 10,000 surveyed, showing the average millionaire took 17 years from go to get there. Not overnight, but doable. And he promises more proof later, stories and stats to back it up. Chapter 1's a wake-up call. It's not about where you are now. It's about where you can go. Tiffany went from ramen to riches. John and Maddie saved their marriage and their money. Sarah turned a teacher's salary into $1 million. They're not exceptions, they're examples. And Dave's betting you can be next. Chapter 2. What is a baby steps millionaire? This chapter's where Dave gets down to brass tacks, defining what it means to hit that $1 million mark and introducing us to folks who've done it his way. It's not about glitz or glamour. It's about grit, a clear plan, and a little bit of vomit. Yes, you heard that right. So, let's lace up our shoes and step into the world of baby steps millionaires with some real-life heroes who show us what's possible. Dave starts Chapter 2 with a bang, or maybe a splash. Meet Webster, a guy who left a literal mark on Dave's radio show 15 years ago. Back then, Dave was so friendly he let fans sit in the studio during live broadcasts. 2 chairs, 6 feet from the desk, a front row seat to the Ramsey show. Webster, a Financial Peace University grad and diehard fan, wrote in asking to visit when he was in Nashville. Dave said sure, because that's just how it worked. Everything's going fine until, mid-segment, Webster turns green, gets queasy, maybe nerves, maybe lunch, and projectile vomits all over the studio floor. Dave's trying to keep talking, tossing him a trash can, while the team scrambles. At the commercial break, they're in there like a NASCAR pit crew, mopping up before the next segment. Poor Webster becomes a legend, and the last guest to ever sit inside the studio. Now, they watch from behind a vomit-proof glass wall in the lobby. But Webster's story doesn't end with that messy moment. Years later, he's back on the show, this time for a debt-free scream. Dave's celebration for folks who've paid off all debt except their mortgage, Baby Step 2 complete. Webster reminds everyone of his infamous visit, and Dave's laughing, thrilled to see him winning. Fast forward a few more years, and Webster's back again. Now for the Everyday Millionaire Theme Hour, where Dave chats with ordinary people who've hit $1 million or more. At 64, Webster and his wife have a net worth of $1.45 million, $1 million in retirement, a paid-for $250,000 home, and $200,000 in investments, including some cash they inherited and invested. How'd he get there? Webster's roots are humble. Parents from dirt-poor Tennessee, his dad an Air Force vet, his mom a worker bee, both living paycheck to paycheck. That's how Webster learned money. If you've got $50, spend $100. He was a spender, always chasing the next thing. School wasn't his strength either. 5 failed college attempts between 1975 and 1987, later traced to dysgraphia, a learning disability that messes with writing and fine motor skills. But Webster had a gift: numbers and tech. Washing dishes on the night shift at a hotel, his manager spots it and moves him to auditing. He dives into IT, earns certifications, and by 1999, he's making $36,000 a year. Still, he and his wife are teetering on bankruptcy and divorce, buried in $197,000 of debt. That's when he tunes into The Ramsey Show, hears about the baby steps, and drags his wife to Financial Peace University. By 2001, they're all in, gazelle intense, as Dave calls it, pinching pennies, selling stuff, paying off that debt in 4.5 years. Debt-free in 2005, they start investing hard. Webster keeps learning, stacking IT certifications, hundreds of them, boosting his income to $180,000 a year by his 60s. From zero to $1.45 million in 16 years, this dishwasher-turned-IT guy proves it. He's a baby steps millionaire. Dave's proud to call him a friend and a hero. Let's meet another example. Lisa, a nurse Dave doesn't name explicitly in this chapter, but whose story fits the mold. Lisa's in her late 20s, single, pulling $50,000 a year in a mid-sized city. She's got $40,000 in student loans from nursing school and a car payment that's eating her alive. She's tired of living paycheck to paycheck, so she picks up Dave's Financial Peace at a thrift store. Ironic, right? And starts the baby steps. That $1,000 emergency fund takes 6 months. She works extra shifts in the ER to make it happen. Then she tackles her debt, sells the car, buys a $2,000 clunker, cuts cable, cooks at home. In 3 years, she's debt-free. With no payments, Lisa jumps to baby step 4, investing 15% of her income, $7,500 a year, into retirement funds. She keeps nursing, earns raises, and by her mid-40s, her net worth crosses $1 million. $800,000 in investments, a $200,000 paid for condo, and some savings. Lisa's no tech whiz or high flyer, just a nurse who followed the plan. She's a baby steps millionaire, living proof that ordinary works when you work it. So what is a baby steps millionaire? Dave gets crystal clear here. First, he defines a millionaire, someone with a net worth, assets minus liabilities, of $1 million or more. Not income, not vibes, just math. If you own $1.5 million in stuff and owe $200,000, your net worth is $1.3 million. You're in. Webster's $1.45 million fits the bill. Lisa's $1 million does too. Dave's heard every argument. $1 million's not what it used to be. Sure, inflation's real, but it's still a millionaire. It's not enough. Maybe, but it's still the mark. It's not a feeling or a philosophy. It's a number. A baby steps millionaire, though, is a specific breed, an everyday millionaire who used Dave's 7 baby steps to get there. Everyday millionaires start from nothing, no big inheritances, no golden tickets. Baby steps millionaires follow a playbook Dave's been refining since 1992, when he self-published Financial Peace. It hit the New York Times list in '96, and by 2003, the Total Money Makeover, with over 8 million copies sold, laid out the steps in detail. Step 1. Save $1,000 fast for emergencies, your safety net. Step 2. Pay off all debt, but the house with the debt snowball, smallest to biggest, full throttle. Step 3. Build a 3 to 6 month emergency fund, your fortress. Steps 4 to 7. Invest 15%, Save for college, pay off the house, then build wealth and give. Webster started at 44, took 4.5 years for steps 1 to 3, then 16 more to hit millionaire status. Lisa did it faster, starting younger. The National Study of Millionaires pegs the average at 17 years from go. When you wake up, get serious, and start the clock. It's not quick, but it's sure. Dave sold 20 million books, taught 10 million through Financial Peace University, and coached millions more on his show. The baby steps work. Webster and Lisa are just two of the legion who've proved it. Chapter 2's Dave's way of saying, this isn't theory, it's reality. Webster went from puking to prospering. Lisa from loans to liberty. They're not outliers, they're neighbors. The baby steps are simple: save, pay, invest, repeat, but they demand discipline. No shortcuts, no magic. Dave teases more stories and the study stats to come, but here he's planting a flag. A baby steps millionaire is anyone willing to work the plan. Ordinary people, extraordinary results. That's the promise, and the proof's in the pudding. Chapter 3. How to become a baby steps millionaire. This is where the rubber meets the road. Dave's not just inspiring us with stories, he's handing us the map. Chapter 3 is the nitty-gritty, step-by-step guide to turning ordinary into extraordinary, complete with examples of folks who've walked the path. So, grab a notepad, or just listen close, because this is how you go from broke to millionaire, one baby step at a time. Dave starts by framing the baby steps like a race, and not the fun kind with medals and cheering crowds. Steps 1 through 3? That's the sprint, short, brutal, all-out effort. You're running from danger, like a gazelle escaping a cheetah, as Dave loves to say. Steps 4 through 7? That's the marathon, longer, steadier, where you settle into a rhythm and build wealth over time. The goal? $1 million net worth or more, using a plan that's worked for millions. Let's break it down, step by step, with some real-world heroes to light the way. First, the sprint, baby steps 1 to 3. Step 1. Save $1,000 fast for emergencies. It's your starter fund, your buffer against life's curveballs, a blown tire, a busted water heater. Dave says do it quick, sell the couch, skip the lattes, hustle extra hours. Step 2. Pay off all debt except your house using the debt snowball. List your debts smallest to biggest, ignore interest rates, and attack the little ones first for quick wins. Minimum payments on everything else, every extra dollar to the smallest debt until it's gone. Then roll that payment to the next. It's psychology, not math, and it works. Step 3. Build a fully funded emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of expenses. For most, that's $10,000 to $20,000 stashed in a savings account, ready for big hits like job loss or medical bills. Take Mark, a mechanic in his early 30s. He's making $42,000 a year, married with a toddler, and they're drowning in $28,000 of debt, $5,000 credit cards, $10,000 car loan, $13,000 student loans from a trade school he didn't finish. Mark hears Dave on a podcast, decides to try the baby steps. Step 1. He and his wife sell an old motorcycle and some baby gear they don't need, $1,000 in the bank in 2 weeks. Step 2. They go gazelle intense. Mark picks up weekend oil changes, his wife babysits, they ditch eating out. That $5,000 credit card's gone in 5 months, the car loan in 14 more, the student loans in 2 years flat, debt-free in under 3 years. Step 3. With no payments, they save $12,000, 4 months' expenses, in 9 months. That's the sprint. 3 years, total transformation. Mark's not rich yet, but he's free, and the marathon's next. Now, the marathon, baby steps 4 to 7, where wealth builds. Step 4. Invest 15% of your pre-tax household income into retirement. Dave's all about tax-advantaged accounts, 401k. If your employer matches, Roth IRAs for growth. He loves good growth stock mutual funds, split 4 ways, 25% each in growth and income, growth, aggressive growth, and international. Pick funds with a track record, 10 years beating the S&P 500, and use a SmartVestor Pro to avoid rookie mistakes. Dave says expect 10 to 12% average returns over decades. He's seen it for 30 years. Here's Joe and Susie, a couple Dave uses to show the math. They're 35, making a combined $65,000 a year. Joe's a warehouse supervisor. Susie's a part-time admin. They've finished the sprint, debt-free, $15,000 emergency fund, and hit step 4. They invest 15%, or $9,750 a year, $812 a month. Joe maxes his 401k match. Susie opens a Roth IRA. At 10% average returns, that $9,750 grows to $1.8 million by 65, 30 years. Bump it to 12%, Dave's preferred rate, and it's $2.8 million. No raises, no windfalls, just steady investing. But let's flesh them out. Say their income creeps to $80,000 by 45 with normal raises. They keep 15%, $12,000 a year, and by 65, at 12%, they're at $4.2 million. That's the marathon's power, time, and consistency. Step 5. Save for your kids' college, if you've got kids. Dave's adamant. No loans, no debt. Cash flow it with 529 plans, or ESAs, education savings accounts, where investments grow tax-free for school. Joe and Susie have 2 kids, so they start $200 a month per kid at 40, after raises kick in. By the time the kids hit 18, each has $75,000 for college, enough for state school, no borrowing. Step 6. Pay off your house early. The National Study of Millionaires says millionaires do it in 10.2 years on average. Mark, our mechanic, buys a $200,000 fixer-upper after step 3. With no debt payments, he throws $1,000 a month at it, $500 from his old debt payments, $500 from extra work. His 4% mortgage is gone in 12 years, not 30. Now he's got a paid-for house worth $250,000 by his mid-40s. Joe and Susie. They buy a $275,000 home at 40, throw $1,200 a month extra at it, and own it free and clear by 52, $400,000 in equity by 65. Step 7. Build wealth and give generously. This is the finish line, abundance. Mark's income hits $60,000 by his 50s. With no house payment, he invests 25%, $15,000 a year. At 10%, he's got $1.2 million by 60, plus his $250,000 home, $1.45 million net worth. Joe and Susie. Their $4.2 million plus a $400,000 home is $4.6 million. They're giving, tithing, funding scholarships, living like no one else because they lived like no one else. Dave's secret sauce? Consistency over flash. The study shows it takes 17 years on average from step 1 to millionaire status, 3 for the sprint, 14 for the marathon. Mark took 18, started late, moved steady. Joe and Susie hit it in 16 with raises. Dave's blunt. No shortcuts, no crypto gambles, just the baby steps. Invest early, live below your means, pay cash. He's seen it work since he rebuilt his own millions post-bankruptcy in the 80s. Look at Mark's life now, 48, a mechanic with a $1.45 million net worth, teaching his teenager the steps. Joe and Susie, 65, retired with $4.6 million, funding a local food bank. They didn't win the lottery, they won with discipline. Dave says that's the how. Sprint hard, marathon smart, and don't quit. The tools? Ramsey Solutions, Financial Peace University, SmartVestor Pros, ramseysolutions.com/start now. The choice? Yours. Chapter 4. A millionaire is not a billionaire. This is Dave hitting pause to clear up a big misunderstanding. Because in a world obsessed with Elon Musk's billions and Jeff Bezos' space yachts, it's easy to think $1 million is pocket change. Spoiler, it's not. Dave's here to show us that millionaires, especially Baby Steps Millionaires, aren't the jet-set elite. They're regular folks who've mastered the art of winning with what they've got. Let's unpack this with some stats and stories that'll make you rethink what wealth really looks like. Dave kicks off Chapter 4 with a reality check. A millionaire is not a billionaire. Sounds obvious, right? But culture's got us twisted. Picture a billionaire. Maybe it's a tech titan in a Silicon Valley penthouse, sipping champagne on a private jet, their name splashed across headlines for buying Twitter or launching rockets. Now picture a millionaire, or rather, a Baby Steps millionaire. Dave paints a different scene. It's a 50-something schoolteacher pulling into her driveway in a 2018 Toyota Camry, unloading groceries from Aldi in a modest 3-bedroom ranch house. No paparazzi, no private island, just a paid-for life and $1 million in the bank. The math backs this up. $1 million is $1 million, one followed by 6 zeros. A billion? $1 billion, 9 zeros. That's 1,000 times more. If a millionaire's wealth is a nice stack of cash, a billionaire's is a skyscraper of it. Dave's point: $1 million's awesome. It's freedom, security, generosity, but it's not infinite. You can't buy a sports team or a country with it. You can retire comfortably, pay cash for a house, give to your church or a charity, and still have plenty left. That's the Baby Steps Millionaire life, and it's way more reachable than billionaire status. Dave leans on the national study of millionaires to drive this home. Over 10,000 surveyed, real data, no fluff. These aren't the Forbes 400. They're everyday millionaires, and most are Baby Steps grads. What do they look like? 31% drive a Toyota or Honda, not a Tesla or a Bentley. The median home value's $450,000. Think a solid suburban split level, not a Malibu mansion. Average square footage, 2,638. Cozy, not cavernous. These folks aren't flashing wealth. They're living it quietly. The study says 68% own paid-for homes, no mortgage dragging them down. Their median net worth? $2.48 million. Average, $3.54 million. Still miles from billionaire territory, but a fortune built step by step. Dave's blunt: culture's sold us a lie. Movies, TV, Instagram, they scream that wealth is private jets and Prada bags. But Baby Steps millionaires, they're shopping at Costco, not Cartier. They're not broke, they're just not billionaires. And that's okay, because $1 million, or $2 million, or $3 million is enough to change your family tree without changing who you are. Let's meet Tom, a guy who fits this to a T. Tom's 54, a middle school math teacher in Ohio. He's been married to his high school sweetheart, Ellen, for 30 years, and they've got 2 grown kids. Tom started teaching at 24, pulling $28,000 a year, while Ellen worked part-time as a librarian. They found Dave's baby steps in their 30s, buried under $45,000 of debt. Car loans, credit cards, a small student loan from Tom's education degree. They sprint through steps 1 to 3, $1,000 emergency fund in 3 months, debt gone in 2 years, $15,000 emergency fund in 18 months. By 40, they're on step 4, investing 15%, about $6,000 a year then, into Tom's 403(b) and a Roth IRA for Ellen. Raises push their income to $70,000 combined by 50. They pay off their $180,000 house in 11 years, step 6, and keep investing. Today, Tom's got $1.2 million in retirement, a $300,000 paid for home, and $50,000 in savings, $1.55 million net worth. He drives a 2016 Honda Accord. Ellen's got a 2019 Toyota RAV4. They vacation at state parks, not street barts. Tom's no billionaire. He's not buying a yacht. But he's a millionaire, free to retire next year and tutor kids for fun. That's the Baby Steps way. Then there's Cheryl, a 48-year-old accountant in Georgia. Single, no kids. She started her career at 25 with $35,000 in student loans and a $12,000 car note, earning $40,000 a year. She catches the Ramsey show on her commute, buys the Total Money makeover, and jumps in. Step 1, $1,000 in 2 months. She sells old furniture and skips nights out. Step 2, debt-free in 3 years, living lean in a 1-bedroom apartment. Step 3, $14,000 emergency fund in a year. At 31, Cheryl hits step 4 to 15%, or $6,000 a year, into a 401k and Roth IRA. Her income climbs to $85,000 by 45 with promotions, so she's investing $12,750 annually. She buys a $250,000 townhouse at 38, pays it off by 46, step 6, and keeps pouring into investments. Today, she's got $900,000 in retirement, a $325,000 paid for home, and $75,000 in cash, $1.3 million net worth. Cheryl drives a 2020 Toyota Corolla, shops thrift stores for fun, and gives $10,000 a year to her local animal shelter. Billionaire? Nope. Millionaire? Absolutely, and loving it. Dave's driving home a big idea here. Baby Steps Millionaires don't live like billionaires because they don't have to. Tom's not chartering private flights. He's grilling burgers in his backyard. Cheryl's not buying a second home in the Hamptons. She's volunteering at the shelter. The study shows 64% spend less than $450 a month on groceries, less than the average American's $582. 66% drop under $300 on restaurants, versus $251 for the rest of us. They're frugal, not flashy. Why does this matter? Dave says it's freedom. $1 million, or $2 million, or $3 million. Lets you live well, give big, and sleep easy without chasing billionaire excess. Tom's planning to fund his grandkids' college. Cheryl's dreaming of a cross-country RV trip. They're not billionaires. They don't need to be. They're millionaires, built from scratch with the baby steps. Proving wealth isn't about headlines. It's about heart. Dave wraps this chapter with a wink. Don't despise the millionaires. They're your neighbors, not your moguls. Chapter 5. Belief versus Barriers. This is where Dave gets in your face, lovingly, of course, about what's really holding you back from becoming a millionaire. Spoiler, it's not your paycheck or your past. It's your head. Dave's here to battle the lies we've swallowed about money and show us that belief, not barriers, determines our destiny. Let's jump in with some stories and stats that'll light a fire under you. Dave starts Chapter 5 with a truth bomb. Building wealth isn't about luck or privilege. It's about what you believe and what you do with that belief. Society's money culture is toxic, he says, a swamp of lies pumped out by credit card companies, banks, and even well-meaning folks in our lives. You need debt to survive. You'll never get ahead without a fancy degree. Millionaires are born, not made. Dave's heard it all, and he's calling it garbage. He says these aren't just doubts. They're barriers we've bought into, keeping us stuck. But belief? That's the sledgehammer that smashes them down. The national study of millionaires backs him up. 84% of millionaires say personal habits, not external circumstances, made them rich. Not inheritance, not a golden job, just choices and grit. Dave's got stories to prove it, and he brings back some familiar faces to show how belief beats barriers every time. Take Tiffany, the single mom from Chapter 1. At 27, she's in a hole, $60,000 in debt, 2 kids, $30,000 a year from a soul-crushing job, living on ramen and desperation. Barriers? Oh, she's got him. No child support after her divorce, no family wealth to lean on. Just her and her babies against the world. Then life piles on more. Her dad dies in a car wreck when she's 32, leaving her grieving and broke. At 39, breast cancer hits, draining her energy and savings for treatments. Most would have quit, said, "This is too much. I can't win." Not Tiffany. She finds Dave's baby steps on a library computer, and something clicks. Belief. She decides she's not a victim, she's a victor. She saves that $1,000 emergency fund in 4 months, working overtime despite exhaustion. Debt snowball next. She sells a beat-up secondhand crib, cancels cable, packs lunches. That $60,000 is gone in 5 years, even with cancer slowing her down. By 45, she's debt-free, investing 15%, $6,000 a year then, as her income climbs to $40,000 with promotions. She beats cancer, keeps going, and by 52, she's got $1.85 million, $1.3 million in investments, $450,000 in real estate, $100,000 in cash. Barriers screamed impossible. Belief roared back, "Watch me." Today, she's a Ramsey coach, helping others smash their own walls. Then there's Webster, the IT guy who puked in Dave's studio. His barriers started early. Born to paycheck parents in Tennessee, no college fund, no financial know-how. School's a bust. He flunks out 5 times between 1975 and 1987, later learning it's dysgraphia, a disability that scrambles writing and coordination. Jobs: dishwasher, gas station clerk, $400 a month at 22. By 1999, he's 44, married, making $36,000 in IT, but drowning in $197,000 of debt, credit cards, car loans, medical bills from his wife's surgery. Their marriage is crumbling. Divorce papers are half-drafted. Barriers say, "You're too old, too broke, too messed up." But Webster tunes into the Ramsey show, hears Dave's "You can do this," and believes it. He drags his wife to Financial Peace University. Awkward at first, but they commit. Step 1. $1,000 in 3 months, selling old tools and skipping vacations. Step 2. Gazelle intense. They sell a car, downsize their apartment, pay off $197,000 in 4.5 years. Step 3. $15,000 emergency fund in a year. By 50, he's debt-free, stacking IT certifications, hundreds of them, pushing his income to $180,000 by 64. Investments grow to $1 million, plus a $250,000 paid-for home and $200,000 in other assets. $1.45 million net worth. Dysgraphia didn't stop him, debt didn't define him. Belief did. Let's add Carlos, a construction worker who fits this chapter's vibe. Carlos is 30, an immigrant in Texas, making $38,000 a year swinging a hammer. English isn't his first language. He's got no degree, just a work visa and a dream. Barriers? Plenty. $20,000 in debt from a truck loan and medical bills after his son's birth, plus rent eating half his pay. Family back home needs help, and he's sending $200 a month, stretching him thin. Society says, "You're too far behind." Carlos catches Dave on YouTube, subtitles on, and something sparks. He believes he can change his story. Step 1. $1,000 in 5 months. Extra weekend jobs, no beer runs. Step 2. Debt snowball. He pays off the $5,000 medical bill in 6 months, the $15,000 truck in 2 years, living in a tiny apartment with his wife and son. Step 3. $10,000 emergency fund in a year. By 35, he's debt-free, income up to $50,000 with overtime. Step 4. 15%, $7,500 a year, into a 401k. He buys a $150,000 fixer-upper at 40, pays it off by 48. Today, at 50, Carlos has $800,000 in investments, a $200,000 home, $50,000 in savings, $1.05 million. Language, background, low start, barriers didn't win, belief did. Dave's hammering this home. Barriers are real, but belief is stronger. The study shows 21% of millionaires got an inheritance. Only 3% got $1 million or more. Most started with nothing. 79% built it themselves. Divorce, disability, low income. 68% faced major setbacks. Yet 84% point to habits. Saving, investing, saying no to debt. Tiffany fought cancer. Webster beat learning struggles. Carlos defied odds. Dave's own story echoes this. Bankrupt at 28, millions lost, but belief rebuilt him into a multi-millionaire by 40. He's blunt. Stop whining, start working. That toxic culture, ads pushing car loans, friends bragging about vacations they can't afford. It's a trap. Belief says, "I control my future." Barriers say, "You're stuck." Dave's betting on belief, and he's got millions of winners proving it. Chapter 5's a wake-up call. Your mind's the battlefield. Win there, and the money follows. Chapter 6, the quickest right way to $1 million. This is Dave at his most practical, cutting through the noise of get-rich-quick schemes to hand us a proven, legit path to $1 million. No crypto gambles, no lottery tickets, just the baby steps, backed by data and stories of real people who've made it work. So, let's buckle up and see how ordinary folks hit that millionaire mark the smart, steady way. Dave kicks off Chapter 6 with a promise. The baby steps are the quickest right way to become a millionaire. Not the fastest scam, those crash and burn, but the fastest path that's honest, repeatable, and built on principles he's preached for 30 years. He's seen too many folks chase shortcuts, MLMs, day trading, invest in my buddy's startup, and lose everything. The baby steps? They're not sexy, but they're sure. The national study of millionaires proves it. 10,000 surveyed. Real millionaires. Average time from go to $1 million? 17 years. That's the clock starting when you get serious. Step 1, and run the race to Step 7. Dave says it's the best practices of wealth building, distilled into 7 clear moves, and he's got the numbers and stories to back it up. Let's start with the data. The study's a goldmine. 80% of millionaires used employer-sponsored retirement plans like 401(k)s. Think matching contributions, tax advantages. 74% invested outside those plans, Roth IRAs, brokerage accounts, stacking more for the future. 73% saved regularly, month after month, no excuses. Frugality's key too. 64% spend less than $450 a month on groceries, beating the average American's $582. 66% keep restaurant tabs under $300 versus $251 for the rest of us. Debt? Forget it. 73% never carried a credit card balance. 71% dodged student loans entirely. These aren't flukes, they're habits. Dave says this is the recipe. Save hard, invest smart, live lean, no shortcuts needed. Now, let's see it in action with Joe and Susie, Dave's go-to couple from Chapter 3. They're 35, making $65,000 combined. Joe's a warehouse supervisor, Susie's a part-time admin with 2 kids. They've sprinted through steps 1 to 3. $1,000 emergency fund in 2 months selling stuff online. $30,000 of debt. Car loans, credit cards. Gone in 3 years with the debt snowball. $15,000 emergency fund in a year. By 39, they're ready for the marathon. Step 4. They invest 15%, $9,750 a year, or $812 a month. Joe maxes his 401(k) match, $4,000 with $2,000 free from his boss. Susie puts $5,750 in a Roth IRA. Dave's fund picks: 25% each in growth and income, growth, aggressive growth, and international, good mutual funds, beating the S&P 500 for a decade, averaging 10 to 12% returns. Raises kick in, $80,000 by 45, so they bump to $12,000 a year. Step 5. They save $200 a month per kid in 529 plans from 40, hitting $75,000 each by 18. Step 6. They buy a $275,000 home at 40, throw $1,200 extra monthly at it, own it by 52, $400,000 equity by 65. Step 7. Investments grow at 10%. That $12,000 yearly from 45 becomes $2.2 million by 65. At 12%, it's $3.2 million. Add the house and $100,000 cash, $3.7 million net worth in 26 years from go. Quick, not overnight, right? Every time. Meet Rachel, a hairstylist who nails this too. She's 28, single, making $35,000 a year in a small town, cutting hair, doing highlights, living in a $600 a month rental. She's got $25,000 in debt, $10,000 student loans from cosmetology school, $15,000 car loan. She hears Dave on a client's radio, grabs the total money makeover, and starts. Step 1. $1,000 in 3 months, extra Saturday appointments, no new clothes. Step 2. Debt snowball. She kills the $10,000 student loan in a year, the car in 2 more, debt-free by 31. Step 3. $10,000 emergency fund in 10 months, tips piling up. By 32, Rachel's on step 4 to 15%, or $5,250 a year, into a Roth IRA. She sticks with Dave's fund mix, averaging 11%. Her income hits $50,000 by 40 with a loyal client base. She's investing $7,500 yearly. Step 5. No kids, so she skips it. Step 6. At 38, she buys a $180,000 bungalow, pays it off by 46 with $800 extra monthly, $225,000 value by 50. Step 7. That's $7,500 a year from 40 grows to $950,000 by 50 at 11%. Add her home and $50,000 savings, $1.225 million net worth in 22 years. Rachel's no Wall Street shark. She's a scissors-wielding millionaire, built the quickest right way. Dave's relentless here. The baby steps are the fastest legit track because they're focused. Sprint through debt. Average 3 years, per the study. Then marathon to wealth. Joe and Susie took 26 years. Rachel, 22. Both beat the 17-year average with raises and hustle. The study says 48% of millionaires save 16% or more monthly. Joe and Susie hit 15%, Rachel too. 36% use coupons always, 33% shop thrift stores. Rachel's a pro at both. Joe and Susie clip deals too. Dave's own comeback fuels this. Bankrupt at 28, he hit millions by 40 with these principles. No debt, steady investing, living below his means. He's blunt. Quickest doesn't mean instant, it means efficient. No gambling on Bitcoin or flipping houses blind, just baby steps. Start at 30, millionaire by 47. Start at 40, hit it by 57. Tools: Ramsey Solutions, Financial Peace University, Ramsey Plus, SmartVestor Pros. Joe and Susie used FPU. Rachel leaned on a SmartVestor. Dave's promise: it's not magic, it's math, and it works every time. Chapter 7. Will Wealth Ruin My Kids? This is Dave getting personal, shifting from dollars to family, tackling a question every parent dreads. Will my money mess up my kids? He's not just theorizing. He's lived it, raised his own kids with millions in the bank, and seen countless families navigate this. Let's explore his answers, with stories and stats that show wealth doesn't have to ruin. It can refine, if you raise them right. Dave starts Chapter 7 with a confession. He's worried about this too. After clawing back from bankruptcy in his 20s, losing everything by 28, he rebuilt his wealth the baby steps way, hitting multi-millionaire status by his 40s. By then, he and Sharon had 3 kids, Denise, Rachel, and Daniel, growing up in a home where money wasn't a struggle anymore. Dave admits the fear. What if they turn into spoiled brats? What if they think life owes them a BMW at 16? He's seen the horror stories, trust fund kids crashing Ferraris, entitled heirs squandering legacies. But he's also seen the flip side, kids raised with wealth who become givers, workers, world changers. The difference? It's not the money, it's the parenting. Dave's blunt. Wealth amplifies who your kids already are. Raise lazy, selfish kids, and $1 million makes them lazier and more selfish. Raise disciplined, generous kids, and wealth becomes a tool for good. His mission with his own kids was clear. Teach them the baby steps, not just the benefits. No free rides. Work for it. Value it. Give it away. He shares a glimpse. His daughter Rachel, now a Ramsey personality, mowed lawns as a teen for spending money, even with dad's millions. Daniel sold old toys at garage sales to learn value. Denise babysat, not for need, but for character. Dave and Sharon didn't hand out cash. They handed out lessons. Today, all 3 are debt-free, hardworking adults with their own wealth, giving back like their parents. Dave's proof. Wealth didn't ruin them. It shaped them, because he raised them right. Let's meet Greg, a Baby Steps millionaire who faced this head-on. Greg's 55, a civil engineer in Colorado, married to Lisa, with 3 kids, 2 in college, 1 in high school. He and Lisa hit $2.3 million net worth by 50, $1.7 million in investments, a $550,000 paid for home, $50,000 in cash. They started the baby steps in their 30s, debt-free by 38, and built wealth steadily. But as their kids hit their teens, Greg worried. Will they expect handouts? Will they coast because we've got money? Greg took Dave's advice. Teach the steps, not the spoils. At 12, their oldest, Ethan, wanted a new bike. Greg said, earn it. Ethan shoveled snow all winter, saved $150, and bought it himself. Their daughter, Sophie, wanted a car at 16. Greg matched her $2,000 from waitressing, but she paid insurance and gas. Youngest, Owen, runs a lawn mowing gig at 15, banking half for college. Greg and Lisa don't hide their wealth. They explain it. We work the baby steps so you can too. Ethan's 22 now, debt-free through college with savings. Sophie's 20, paying cash for school. Owen's on track. Greg's kids aren't ruined. They're ready, raised with work ethic over wallets. Then there's Maria, a single mom and nurse in Florida. She's 46, hit $1.1 million net worth, $850,000 in retirement, a $225,000 paid for condo, $25,000 in savings. Divorced at 35, she raised her son, Javier, alone, starting the baby steps with $40,000 in debt. By 40, she was debt-free, investing 15%, $7,500 a year then, as her income grew to $65,000. Javier's 10 when she hit step 7, and Maria's terrified. I've got money now. Will he think it's his? She follows Dave's playbook. Teach purpose, not privilege. At 12, Javier wants a gaming console. Maria says, half's on you. He rakes leaves, earns $200, and Maria matches it. Console bought, lesson learned. At 16, he wants a car. Maria covers half the $3,000 cost, but he pays upkeep from a fast food job. She talks openly. I'm a millionaire because I saved, not spent. Javier's 18 now, heading to community college debt-free, with $5,000 saved from work. Maria's wealth didn't spoil him. It spurred him because she modeled discipline and generosity, tithing 10% and funding his first savings account. Dave ties this to the national study of millionaires. 84% say personal habits made them rich, not luck or handouts. That's what they passed down. The study shows 79% of millionaires built wealth from scratch. Only 21% got an inheritance, and just 3% got $1 million or more. These folks aren't raising kids on silver spoons. They're raising them on sweat. Dave digs into his faith here too. Proverbs 22 verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old he will not depart from it. For him, that's work, giving, and money smarts. He gets practical. No allowances. Pay commissions for chores. Greg's kids earn screen time with tasks. Maria's Javier got $5 per A on his report card. College. Cash flow it. Greg and Lisa saved in 529s. Maria used her income, no loans. Cars. Match effort, not entitlement. Dave's kids drove beaters they co-funded. Greg and Maria did the same. The goal? Kids who value money's purpose, freedom, generosity, over its perks. The study hints at success. Millionaires' habits. 73% never carried credit card debt. Echo in their kids' debt-free starts. Dave's candid. Wealth can ruin kids if you let it. He's seen it. Parents bailing out lazy teens, buying love with lavish gifts, raising adults who can't stand on their own. But he's lived the opposite. His daughter Rachel, co-author of Smart Money, Smart Kids, teaches this now. Her childhood of earning, not expecting, built her own millions. Greg's Ethan's engineering his own path. Maria's Javier's eyeing nursing like mom. Wealth didn't wreck them. It refined them because their parents taught the baby steps, not just the benefits. Dave wraps with a challenge. Raise givers, not takers. Money's a tool. Teach kids to wield it, not worship it. Greg funds a scholarship. Maria supports a clinic. Their kids see it, live it. Chapter 7's Dave saying, your wealth won't ruin your kids, you might. But get it right, and they'll soar. Chapter 8. Wealth and the wealthy are not evil. This is Dave grabbing a megaphone to shout down a lie we've all heard. That money's bad and rich people are worse. He's fed up with the guilt trips and stereotypes, and he's here to set the record straight with scripture, stats, and stories of good folks doing good things with their wealth. So let's unpack this myth-busting chapter and see why Dave's so fired up. Dave starts chapter 8 with a jab at culture's favorite punching bag, the wealthy. You know the drill. Movies with greedy tycoons twirling mustaches, politicians railing against the 1%, even friends sneering, must be nice, when you get ahead. Dave's heard it all, and he's done with it. He says wealth isn't evil, and neither are the wealthy. It's what you do with it that counts. He leans hard into his faith here, quoting 1 Timothy 6 verse 10, for the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. Not money itself, the love of it. Big difference. Dave's point, money's a tool. Like a hammer, you can build a house or bash a thumb. The wealthy aren't villains. They're just people, and most baby steps millionaires are using that tool to build, not destroy. The national study of millionaires is Dave's ammo. 10,000 surveyed. Real data, no fairy tales. 73% never carried a credit card balance, ever. 71% avoided student loans, paying cash, or working through school. These aren't folks gaming the system or hoarding gold like Scrooge McDuck. They're disciplined, not devious. The study says 84% credit personal habits, saving, investing, living below their means, not luck or exploitation. Only 21% got an inheritance, and just 3% got $1 million or more. Dave's blunt. These aren't evil geniuses. They're everyday people who work the plan. Wealth's not a sin. It's a scorecard of choices. Let's meet Paul, a Baby Steps millionaire who proves this. Paul's 52, a plumber in Michigan, married to Jen, with 3 kids. He started at 22, making $25,000 a year, fixing pipes in freezing basements. By 30, he's got $35,000 in debt, truck loan, credit cards, and Jen's a stay-at-home mom. They find Dave on the radio, dive into the baby steps. Step 1, $1,000 in 3 months, selling tools he doesn't need. Step 2, debt-free in 3 years. Paul picks up night calls, Jen babysits. Step 3, $15,000 emergency fund by 34. Step 4, 15%, $6,000 a year then, into a 401k as his income hits $60,000 by 40 with his own small business. They pay off their $200,000 house by 45, step 6, and keep investing. Today, Paul's got $1.1 million in retirement, a $350,000 paid for home, $50,000 in cash, $1.5 million net worth. Evil? Hardly. Paul's a deacon at his church, tithing 10%, $8,000 last year, and funding a youth program. He's not hoarding, he's helping. Wealth didn't corrupt him, it amplified his generosity, just like Dave says. Then there's Anita, a 50-year-old widow and former retail manager in Oregon. Anita's husband died at 42, leaving her with a 6-year-old daughter and $50,000 in debt, medical bills, a car loan. She's making $38,000 a year, grieving, scared. She stumbles into Financial Peace University at her church, finds hope. Step 1, $1,000 in 4 months, extra shifts, no vacations. Step 2, debt gone in 4 years. She sells the second car, lives lean. Step 3, $12,000 emergency fund by 46. Step 4, 15%, $6,750 a year, into a Roth IRA as her income hits $45,000 by 48 with promotions. She buys a $225,000 condo at 47, pays it off by 50, step 6. Today, she's got $800,000 in investments, a $275,000 home, $25,000 in savings, $1.1 million net worth. Evil? Nope. Anita gives $5,000 a year to a widow's support group, mentors single moms in FPU. Her wealth's a lifeline. She's not greedy, she's grateful. Dave's right. It's stewardship, not sin. Dave doubles down with more study gold. 68% of millionaires own paid-for homes. Average value $450,000, not mansions. 64% spend under $450 a month on groceries. Frugal, not flashy. 36% use coupons all the time. 33% shop thrift stores. These aren't stereotypes of excess. They're pictures of restraint. Dave's own story echoes this. Bankrupt at 28, he rebuilt millions by his 40s, debt-free, giving millions through Ramsey Solutions' generosity initiatives. He's not ashamed. He's proud, because wealth let him bless others. He tackles the haters. If wealth's evil, why do you want to raise? It's not money we hate, it's misuse. Paul's fixing pipes and funding kids' camps. Anita's lifting up widows. The study says 79% built wealth from scratch. No stealing, no shortcuts. Dave leans on Matthew 25, the parable of the talents. God rewards those who use what they're given well. Wealth's not the problem, selfishness is. Baby Steps millionaires prove it. They're not evil, they're everyday heroes. Dave raps with a challenge. Stop vilifying wealth and start wielding it. Paul's kids see him give. Anita's daughter learns to save. The study hints at legacy. Millionaires' habits, 73% no credit card debt, passed down, building families who thrive, not thieve. Dave's lived it. His kids, raised with millions, work hard, give big. Wealth didn't curse them, it blessed them, because he taught them its purpose. Chapter 8's a rally cry. Wealth and the wealthy aren't evil, they're what you make them. Make them good. Chapter 9, Baby Steps Millionaires in every neighborhood. This is Dave pulling back the curtain to show us something amazing. Millionaires aren't just in penthouses or gated estates. They're right next door, in every zip code. living lives that look a lot like ours. With stories and stats, he's proving wealth isn't rare or remote. It's reachable everywhere. So, let's take a stroll through some neighborhoods and meet the folks who've made it happen. Dave starts Chapter 9 with a big picture promise. Baby Steps Millionaires are all around us. Not loud, not flashy, just regular people who followed the plan. He's not guessing. The National Study of Millionaires lays it out. Over 10,000 surveyed. Median net worth $2.48 million. Average $3.54 million. These aren't outliers. They're in rural towns with one stoplight, urban apartments buzzing with city noise, suburban cul-de-sacs with kids on bikes. 68% own paid-for homes. Average size 2,638 square feet. Median value $450,000. That's not a mansion. It's a 3-bedroom ranch with a decent backyard. Dave's point? They're not hiding in Hollywood. They're mowing lawns next to you. Picture this. A dusty gravel road in Kansas, cornfields stretching to the horizon. That's where Kelly lives. She's 49, a farm supply store manager, married to Mike, a mechanic, with 2 teenage boys. They started the Baby Steps at 32, making $55,000 combined, buried under $40,000 of debt, truck loan, credit cards, a small farm equipment note. Step 1. $1,000 in 3 months. Kelly sells homemade jams at the farmer's market. Mike fixes neighbors' tractors. Step 2. Debt-free in 3 years. They ditch cable, eat at home. Step 3. $15,000 emergency fund by 36, squirreling away bonuses. Step 4. 15%, $8,250 a year, into Mike's 401k and Kelly's Roth IRA, as their income hits $70,000 by 40. They buy a $175,000 farmhouse at 38, pay it off by 46. Step 6. Now worth $250,000. Step 7. Investments grow. At 10%, that $8,250 yearly from 40 hits $1.1 million by 49, plus $50,000 in savings. Net worth? $1.4 million. Kelly drives a 2017 Ford Escape. Mike's got a 2015 Chevy Silverado, both paid off. They're not flaunting it. They're fixing fences and coaching Little League. Rural millionaires, right in the heartland. Now, zoom to a bustling Chicago neighborhood. Brownstones, L trains rattling overhead. That's Jamal's turf. He's 44, a high school history teacher, and single dad to a 12-year-old daughter. At 29, he's making $42,000, with $30,000 in debt, student loans, a car note, after his wife leaves. He finds Dave on a podcast, dives in. Step 1, $1,000 in 4 months, tutoring after school. Step 2, debt-free in 3 years. He sells the car, takes the bus, lives lean in a 1-bedroom rental. Step 3, $12,000 emergency fund by 33. Step 4, 15%, $6,300 a year, into his 403b as his income creeps to $55,000 by 38 with raises. He buys a $300,000 condo at 40, pays it off by 44. Step 6, thanks to summer school gigs, now worth $350,000. Step 7, that's $6,300 yearly from 38 grows to $750,000 by 44 at 11%, plus $25,000 in savings. $1.125 million net worth. Jamal's rolling in a 2019 Honda Civic, grilling on his balcony, tutoring kids for free at the community center. Urban millionaire, blending into the cityscape. Dave's painting a mosaic here. Baby Steps Millionaires in every neighborhood. The study says 31% drive Toyota or Honda. Kelly's Escape. Jamal's Civic fit right in. 64% spend under $450 a month on groceries. Kelly's canning veggies. Jamal's hitting Aldi. 36% use coupons always. Jamal's got an app for it. Kelly clips from the Sunday paper. They're not jetting off to Paris. They're camping at state parks or catching local games. Suburban example? Think a cul-de-sac in Texas. Joe and Susie from earlier chapters. $3.7 million net worth by 65. In a $400,000 paid for home, driving a Toyota Highlander. Rural, urban, suburban. The study shows millionaires in every state, every income bracket that sticks to the plan. Average time to a million? 17 years. Kelly took 17, Jamal 15, Joe and Susie 26 with a slower start. Dave's own millions came from Tennessee soil, not Wall Street. Proof it's everywhere. Dave gets fired up. They're not unicorns, they're neighbors. The study says 79% built wealth from nothing. Kelly's farm roots, Jamal's single dad grind. Only 21% got an inheritance, 3% a million or more. They're teachers, mechanics, managers. 31% never made six figures annually, yet 84% credit habits. Saving, investing, no debt. Kelly's boys see her tithe to church. Jamal's daughter learns to budget her allowance. They're not loud. 68% own homes averaging 2,638 square feet, not McMansions. Dave's story ties it. Bankrupt at 28, millions by 40, living in a Nashville suburb, not a gated compound. He's met these folks on his show, debt-free screams, millionaire theme hours, farmers, nurses, cops, all hitting a million or more. Chapter 9's a celebration. Wealth's not for them. It's for us, in every neighborhood, if we work the baby steps. Kelly's canning jars, Jamal's lesson plans. They're millionaires, and they're right next door. Epilogue, better than I deserve. Dave wraps up with gratitude. Better than I deserve, he says, reflecting on his journey from broke to blessed. He's not Superman, just a guide who's been there. The epilogue's a pep talk. You've got the tools, now use them. Change your family tree. Live and give like no one else. The National Study of Millionaires. The data. Let's dig into the white paper at the back. The National Study of Millionaires. Over 10,000 participants, 2,000 random millionaires, no Ramsey bias. Key takeaways. Millionaires shun debt. 94% never missed a utility payment. They save. 48% stash 16% or more of their income monthly. They're frugal. 36% use coupons all the time. 33% shop thrift stores. And inheritances? Only 21% got one, and just 3% got a million or more. The biggie, 84% say personal habits, not luck, made them rich. This isn't theory, it's proof. Conclusion, you can do this too. So what's the big picture? Baby Steps Millionaires is a manifesto of possibility. Dave Ramsey spent 30 years shouting this from the rooftops. Wealth isn't for the chosen few. It's for the disciplined many. The baby steps: save $1,000, ditch debt, build an emergency fund, invest 15%, save for college, pay off the house, then build and give, are simple, not sexy. They take time, 17 years on average, but they work every time. Tiffany, John, Maddie, Webster, they're not outliers. They're proof that starting from nothing, facing setbacks, and still winning is possible. The study confirms it. Millionaires aren't born. They're made through choices you can make too. Dave's not promising unicorns and rainbows, just a path. And he's walking it with you, cheering you on. As we close, hear this. You don't need a fancy degree or a rich uncle. You need a plan, grit, and the guts to start. Ramsey Solutions offers tools, Financial Peace University, Ramsey Plus, free assessments to get you going. Visit ramseysolutions.com/start now. This isn't just a book, it's a movement, and you're invited. So what do you say? Ready to baby step your way to millionaire status? Game on. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and please remember to subscribe to receive notification of upcoming recordings. See you in next video.